This episode of On Display is brought to you by Post-it Brand. Find your favorite Post-it products at your local retailer today.
You know, it's not until you really love yourself and you really value yourself outside of whatever anyone else thinks of you that you really can find peace.
All right, everyone. She's one of the most consistent people I know when it comes to who you are on and off camera. She's personally lived in the Bravo universe, and she's about to add a new credential to her already impressive resume: successful author. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me the always lovely Jackie Goldschneider. Hey, Jackie. What's up, girlfriend?
Hi, babe. I'm so happy to be here again.
I know my listeners, they absolutely love when you were on last time. So I was so excited.
Oh, yeah, that was a good talk.
Yes. And now
I
that
love
you have
seeing this other side of you, like the businesswoman. I love that.
You do? I know. I wear many hats, right? Like I'm like
You do.
I do. I know. But I'm glad you say that. Good. And you wear many hats now as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're going to get into the book in a minute, and I want to get deep, because let me just tell you, this book's good, but give me a minute and we'll get into that. Because first I want to tell you a really funny story of something that happened to me today. This is real time. Okay. So the other day I was standing in my bedroom, and from my bedroom window, it's like my backyard, right? So I can see down into my pool from my backyard. So I could literally see my whole entire pool in like very clear vision. So the other day I saw a snake swimming around my pool, like a big, big black snake, like swimming around my pool, right? So I'm like, wow, like I freaked out. I went to like run down the stairs to like, I don't know, try to scoop it out. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was gone by the time I get home today. I was down the shore, Jack. I get home today. Joe got so many gifts for his birthday, like actually a lot of liquor for his birthday, right? And we'll discuss that. I saw you this weekend too. You were at my shore house this weekend, but he got so much liquor, and I have a big bar in my basement. So I just started to like bring the liquor downstairs. There's a fucking snake in my basement today.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
I never in my life screamed so loud. It is not the same snake that was in my pool, because the one that was in my pool was huge. This is a baby. This was a little baby snake. It must have had, I don't know. I don't know if I live in Snakeville. I thought I lived in Frogville because I have frogs everywhere in my backyard. I happen to live like with a lot of woods behind me and like acres. Jack, I freaked the frick.
What did you do? Did you call an exterminator?
No. So it's small. It was small, but it was hissing at me. But it was very small. Like when I mean small, you could have mistaken, it was just born. So like you could have mistaken it for like a very large worm, like a very.
Right. But how do you tell the difference between a poisonous one and a non-poisonous?
Oh, Jesus. I didn't even think of poisonous like at all.
Oh, really?
No,
that would have been my first thought.
That didn't even cross my mind. So now I know that Gino and Joey just left to go to football practice. Joe is not home and Tony is upstairs in the shower. I'm sitting there staring at this thing, and it's frozen, and I'm frozen because it was scared. I didn't know what to do. I start FaceTiming and Tony. I'm like, get down here, bring me a bucket. Like, I don't know what to do. She comes running down the stairs. I FaceTime Joe. He flies home. Oh my God, we got a snake out of my house. This will be on my TikTok later, because like I started videoing it. I'm like, I don't know, what does one do besides put it on?
That's so scary. If that was me, I would have then drank all the alcohol that I just brought downstairs.
I couldn't believe it was real. And now I keep feeling like I keep looking at my feet, because
you keep thinking there's a snake on you, right?
Well, where's its mother? Where the hell is this baby snake's mother?
I don't know.
Is it in my freaking house?
You might want to call someone.
No, we were like looking under. It was insane. So I had to share that with you because I haven't shared it with anyone. I'm like, there was a freaking snake in my house today. A real snake. But Joe came home, and it's like his real birthday today. Saved the day, got the snake into a box, and we let it go free. So.
Oh my God. Good. Good for you.
I just had to share that story with everyone, because I'm like, I cannot believe I just had a snake in my home today. Like I never in my life.
Evan would have thrown a shoe at it. Like
No, you
I'm
couldn't.
shocked that Joe got it into a box
It was it
calmly.
was hissing, but it was very small. Like you guys would be like, really? Like it was very small, but it still had the head and the tongue.
It's still a snake. I don't care what size it is.
Thank
A
you.
snake's
And
a
it was
snake.
opening its
Yeah.
mouth. And I'm like, if this thing
Oh
charges,
God.
no, if he charges at me, what the fuck am I going to do? Like I was freaking out. Anyway, that's my fun snake story. I saw you this weekend at my shore house.
Yes. We had so much fun. That was fun.
We had a really fun night. Obviously, we can't get too deep into it because, we'll spoil it for certain other things and every, Bravo gods are watching. But I had fun and I love that you were able to come over and like hang out. We had like I drank a lot. Did you drink?
I did drink, but I didn't drink that much.
Did you drive home?
No.
Oh,
I had a car.
you had a car.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. So there you go. You could have drank if you wanted to, but you didn't.
Yeah. No, I did drink. I just wasn't getting, those nights when you drink and you're just not getting drunk.
Yes.
I was drinking tequila. When I drink tequila, I don't get drunk. I just get happy.
Really? So see, that's me with
Yeah.
vodka. That doesn't work with me with tequila usually.
Oh no.
No, I'm a vodka
With wine,
girl.
I get emotional.
You start, I know this is a thing. I got you. I got it. Well, listen to me. I want to talk about the last time you were on my show. You said you had something that you absolutely could not talk about at all and that you were really excited about it. And I finally know what it is. The Weight of Beautiful. You have a new book out. I am so excited for you. I want to talk about it today. Jack, I just want to tell you, and I'm just going to say this. I haven't read the whole thing, but I have had it for a couple days and I've been looking through it and reading certain chapters and wow, like I want to tell you that it really, listen, a lot of housewives come out with books, right? They do. It's a thing. And this is not to put any housewives books down and even including myself. Okay. But this is not a typical housewife book. It's not. It's very deep. It is amazing. It is written so well. It's emotional. It's informative. It's so many different things. I'm very, very,
thank you.
very proud of you.
I adore you and thank you. Today I actually just got the finished copies and I just opened it and saw it for the first time. And in the finished one, there's a photo insert that will blow your mind.
Really?
It's not in the one that you have. Yeah. And like, it just takes you through, it's just visual proof that everything I'm saying is true through every chapter. And it's just wild. It was a wild ride. It really was. And I'm so happy and terrified to have it in a book that everyone's going to be reading.
Right. It's definitely a different type of book. It's deep. It's, there's obviously a lot of people out there suffering from this kind of thing. And I do think that you being so open and honest with your story is going to help so many people. And, I knew obviously from the moment I met you, you and I are very close friends. And from the moment I met you, I always loved you. There was just something about you that was very honest. And, one of the first things I will say that I met, and I knew that this book was going to be honest because one of the first things, and a lot of girls don't do this, they hold up that front, right? But when you first started filming with us and you were with me in a couple scenes and you came with me to an event or two in the very, very, very beginning when you first got on the show, I'll never forget how open and honest your reactions were to me, to be honest. You were like, I can't believe I am sitting here with Melissa Gorga. And you would say it to my face and you would say, I can't believe I'm going to be on this red carpet. And I can't believe, Melissa, I'm going to this event with you. And I truly, I didn't look at you like I didn't belittle you for saying that. I looked at you like, wow, so many people would, that wanted to be on the show or audition for the show or whatever it may be, would probably felt the same way. But Jackie is strong enough and has the courage and her ego, like she doesn't care. She comes out and she says it. And you really were like that. And I thought that was very refreshing about you because a lot of girls would put up a front like, yeah, I belong here. So what? Like, yeah, I got it. But you were so honest about it. And I always loved that.
I am very honest. And in the book, there's absolutely no secrets. But this one thing, I compartmentalized all my secrets into this one eating disorder that I just kept hidden. I kept everything hidden. And if you even try to say a word to me, I just would like change the conversation or make excuses. You couldn't talk to me about food. Everything else was on the table, but food was just a non-starter.
And by the way, I remember that as well because I
Mhm.
I had questions for you in the beginning and I would tiptoe around you and not be sure what I can ask or how comfortable. And I would see you get annoyed if I said like, "Are you going to eat that piece of bread?" Or I could see that it would
Yeah.
bother you a little bit. So I always kind of took a step back. What made you decide that now was a good time to actually share this incredible story?
Well, I mean, I was just far enough into my recovery to realize that this was a story that needed to be told, and I was finally comfortable telling it. Also, when so this was a 20-year struggle for me. I was anorexic for 20 years. And during the worst of it, I mean, there were no good days, but during the worst of it, I really felt like I was the only person in the world going through it as badly as I was. And there really was nobody who was telling their story honestly. And I remember Portia de Rossi wrote a book about being anorexic during her time on Ally McBeal. And I read it so many times, just kind of like searching her story for like hope or answers or something, because nobody talked about this stuff. And I didn't think there was anyone else out there. So I felt like if I could find the strength to tell my story honestly, then other people like me who think they're the only person out there struggling could maybe find hope through my story. But something I want to say is it's not just for people who have eating disorders or people who know someone. It's really a story it's kind of a universal story about feeling lost and losing yourself, and that spiraling into something toxic and finding your way out, no matter what your struggle is.
Right. And that's the truth because this was just like a really super toxic thing that invaded your life and how you kind of, weaned your way in and out and came out of it at this point and you've won the battle, right? I mean, it's always going to be
Mhm.
a battle, but it's something that you feel like, you've definitely won in a way and you've won because you're
Yeah.
talking about it and you're writing about it and you're sharing your story. Guys, it's the perfect time to take your routine to the next level. And that's why I want to tell you all about Osea. So, we all know how essential body care is, right? But traveling with full size products is such a hassle. Osea's most loved body care products are included in their bestsellers body care set. So you can effortlessly maintain your body care routine while enjoying fun summer adventures. Okay, guys, so I actually have these products. The bestsellers body care kit is absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed with the body oil. It's perfect. It leaves my skin looking so moisturized. It glows, and I'm crazy about that. I like when skin glows. The body butter is so perfect. It keeps your skin looking beautiful all day long, especially when I'm like out all day in the summer sun, shorts, dresses. I like my skin to glow. So make sure this summer you guys take your glow to go with clean vegan skincare and body care from Osea. Right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. You guys will get 10% off your first order site-wide with code display at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. Thank you. Head over to oseamalibu.com and use code display for 10% off. You hear that sound? It's the sound of a sale you're missing out on because you're not selling on Shopify. And what does it sound like with Shopify? Ah, much better. Anyone who knows me knows I go crazy when my phone makes that sound. It makes me so excited. I sell everything from Envy on Shopify, and that little cha-ching makes my whole entire day. Start selling with Shopify today. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. All right. So whether you're a garage entrepreneur or IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool you need to start, run, and grow your business without the struggle. And once you've reached your audience, Shopify has the internet's best converting checkout to help you turn them from browsers to buyers. Plus, once you start selling, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. Guys, I use Shopify for all of my sales with Envy, and I can tell you this, all of my customers love it. It's super easy, hassle-free. You really can't go wrong. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success in every step of the way. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Melissa, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Melissa to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/Melissa. Cha-ching. In the beginning of the book, you talk about your upbringing, right? And you talk about how your brother was your play buddy. And I know he's really such a warm part of every single episode that we've had on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. How is Eric doing?
Eric's the best. He's the happiest person ever. He really is. You know, it's hard because, ignorance is bliss. He doesn't know what he's missing in terms of not being able to have children, I guess, or, he's a happy uncle, which is great, which, is very fulfilling for so many people. But, his life is, about just being with family and volunteering and being with his wife. And he doesn't, he's just happy. He's so much happier than most people I know. He lives a great life. And, but yeah, Eric was very instrumental in everything in my life. I feel like, he has taught me so much empathy and so much. He also made me a very soft person.
Right.
But anyway, he's doing fabulous. But I asked him before I wrote about him. Well, actually, I wrote it and then I asked him before I gave it to my publisher, do you mind if I talk about high school? Do you mind if I talk about you and what you went through? And everything in there, he told me, yes, I would love it. Yes, I would love it. So
he was okay with you telling a little bit of his story too.
I mean, he hasn't read it yet. I don't know if he will read it, but he was absolutely okay with it.
Can you share with my listeners a little part of that piece of the book and what how you were sticking up for your brother as well when you were in high school and things that you went through with that?
Yeah. Well, a lot of my formative years were spent very depressed. I had a really, really hard time as a teenager, incredibly hard time. And the way people treated my brother at school, where so my brother is a year older than me, but he was held back in grade school. So we were like twins. So we went through high school together. And it was the first time that we went to school together. We both moved our freshman year of high school and went to a new school together. And people were horrific to both of us. And I was tortured for my weight and he was tortured for being disabled. And it was just a terrible, terrible time, all 4 years of them. And then towards the end of high school, I was basically put on a starvation diet by my doctor. And I guess just the way I felt about myself after all those years, just propelled me into this world of diet culture where I thought I can make myself better,
right,
by being thin. So, watching the way the world treated my brother and the way that people treated me over my weight, I guess all came together into this feeling that I just wasn't good enough for anyone or anything. And I needed to just change myself. And I felt like dieting was the way to do that.
When was it that you actually decided I am going to stop eating and I am going to eat so much less? What grade were you in at that point?
It wasn't it wasn't a decision I'm just going to stop eating. I was always trying new diets. You'll see through the book I go through. It's crazy how I remember every detail of everything, but I went through a lot of different diets that didn't work for me. And then I started basically a starvation diet when I was 26 years old. It was 2003. And then it just got completely out of hand. And then certain things happened in my life that I felt like I couldn't go back.
Wow.
And it just spiraled. It really did.
And you met Evan, your husband, in what year was that?
In December of 2003. So I was about 6 months in. So you can imagine that I was scared
Right.
to, I meet the love of my life and then I don't want to gain weight, because my entire psyche was telling me that when you gain weight, nobody will love you and nobody will want you anymore. So I was scared. And Evan never gave any indication of that, but I was scared, so
Right.
I let things keep spiraling. Yeah.
And keep going. And I do remember you showing me a photo of when you actually got married and you were extremely thin.
I was in children's clothing.
Right.
A size 00 would fall off of me.
Right.
It was really bad. I shopped in like juniors departments in children's stores.
Wow. And Evan never, I do remember you saying how he was so supportive through everything. He never even really brought it up to you much, right?
He brought it up while we were dating. He brought it up one time and I got so nervous that it didn't go well. It was a terrible conversation and he basically could never bring it up again.
Right. Because he was
Because
like,
of how I reacted.
right. He was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is something she does not want to talk about.
Not only not want to talk about, but I was aggressively defensive of my stance on my eating issues.
Got it. Well, one of the big themes in your book is taking control of how you define beauty for yourself, not how others define beauty for you, which I love.
Yes.
So tell me how important that is, to define beauty for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a very big part of my recovery was not only learning how to eat it again and like learning not to be scared of food, but it was also not letting myself be defined by what my body looks like. Because for a very, very long time, I placed so much importance on the size of my pants and the number on the scale. And really letting go of that and realizing that that has nothing to do with your self-worth and I know it just sounds like semantics, but it's really true. When I look in the mirror, if I start to think like, ugh, I completely walk away from the mirror. I try to not let it matter to me at all anymore. What my body looks like to other people, it holds no value to me anymore.
Zero. Well, and that's
Nothing.
the important thing. And that's what you want to spread the word on and start teaching other people and explain how good that makes you feel. You also discuss, I was going to say, the anatomy of a spiral. So I want to talk about that too. Explain that to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to want to lose weight. I understand that. And like, it's nice to want to like love the way your body looks. And, but I think that diets push way too much importance on restricting. And I think it's really easy to get lost in it, even when you don't intend to.
Right.
Especially if you are struggling with other demons, which a lot of people do. So I had like severe self-esteem issues. And I had just because of like what I went through during childhood, and also during college. It's very hard to be overweight and young. Maybe easier in today's society, but probably not. But back then, I mean, in the 90s,
Very
in the
judgmental.
80s and
Everyone was so
90s,
much more judgmental.
oh, it was terrible. You could not be overweight without being like judged. And I think it was just really easy to get lost in a diet. I mean, I don't love diets. I will never go on a diet again, ever, 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 ever. I think that, and now with all the diet drugs, I think there's not enough emphasis on just real health and real self-esteem, and fixing what's broken underneath. Everyone's just turning to quick fixes and diets.
Right.
And I'm scared of where society's going, but I guess, you know, I can only tell my story.
I know you've said out loud that you're not that you don't approve of all of this quick fix stuff, and reading this book makes it absolutely clear why you're not a fan of it, because you truly feel like it does come from within to start, and there's a lot of other fixing that needs to happen where when people are emotionally eating, and for whatever reasons, everyone's different, right? But for whatever reasons that they have, I know that you've publicly come out and said that, the Ozempics and all of these things is you're not a fan.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't judge anyone for being on Ozempic. It's not about the people on it. The drugs themselves, and it's not that you know, I'm against it because, I think you have to like fix what's underneath, which is true. But I think that these drugs are a real gateway to eating disorders because, if you think about what an eating disorder is, it's finding ways to avoid your hunger. If you think of what anorexia is, right? Not bulimia, but it's finding ways to avoid your hunger. It's finding ways to ignore your hunger signs, to bypass all of that. And these drugs just give you another way to do that without the pain of starvation. And so I think they're a real easy gateway to eating disorders, and that's where I have skin in the game.
This episode of On Display is brought to you by Post-it Brand. Post-it Brand helps people get ideas out of their head and out into the world. They believe in the power of writing it down, since it's the spark of something bigger. I mean, personally, I have Post-its everywhere, guys. They're all over my desk. They're all over Envy. I don't know what people do without a Post-it. The second I think about it, I write it down and I stick it right on my desk, and then things don't get forgotten. Post-it Super Sticky Notes feature 2 times the sticking power to ensure your message stays put. So when you're in a rush, you could just slap it on the board and you don't have to worry that it's going to be gone whenever you get back. 85% of parents believe you're more likely to achieve a goal if you write it down. And that includes me, guys. I tell my kids all the time to write it on a Post-it and you will never forget. Even homework. So there are 8 Post-it Super Sticky Note collections, so you can match them to your style and any color code if you want. Post-it notes are essential for organizing my life in a bold, colorful way. Find your favorite Post-it products at a local retailer today. Okay, guys, I have to tell you about Angie. It's your home for everything home, and they've made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done right. Like redoing something in your front yard because your husband doesn't want to do it for the 5th time. Joe. Guys, I have been waiting for an app like this my whole life. You literally can find everything on there. Anyone who can fix anything from paint to electricians to landscaping, you name it, and you'll find someone to do it on this app. I think it's genius. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can just be so hard to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish. Or they can help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect you instantly, which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Give me some tips maybe that you'll have for people that want to become healthier and stay healthy without making diet an obsession. Like, what are some of your tips? Because I feel like you've definitely explored everything, right? I feel like you're
Yeah.
an in the know kind of girl. So anybody who doesn't know Jackie, sometimes, and it's not just about diets. Sometimes I'll ask Jackie for information and she will Google that and she will get the answer. And like Jackie will study things and have answers for things that
Yeah.
we're discussing or that we're talking about.
Yeah, I know a lot of things about a lot of things.
Yes,
So I would say
yes.
that the first thing is that if you feel like your eating habits are unhealthy or that you might have a problem, there are a lot of resources, but also talk to somebody you love and you don't have to do it alone. I wish I had let more people in over the years, but you can go to the National Eating Disorder Association's website. They have a screening tool you can use. But if you're not like in a danger zone and you just don't feel like you feel like maybe you want to lose weight without spiraling into an eating disorder, I would say, dietitians are wonderful. They don't put you on a diet despite the name. They will teach you. They know so much about food and the way the body works. I was always under the mistaken assumption that it's calories in, calories out, and it's really not. That's not the way bodies work, and I wish I had known that sooner. But nutritionists and dietitians can really teach you so much about food and the way your body works and the way you can use food to, food for enjoyment, but also eat in a way that will benefit your health the most.
Right. Jackie, I think one of the many powerful things in this book is how you end the acknowledgement page. It's a powerful note to 15-year-old Jackie. You say, "You were always good enough. You were always beautiful. I love you."
Writing this book was so therapeutic for me because I really didn't let myself think about that decade where I was just like always looking, like trying so hard to be thin and couldn't do it. So from like more than a decade, but from like 14 years old to 26 years old, I was just like always searching for the next diet and never succeeding. And I hated myself. And I just think that I never let myself go back there. I was never kind to that girl.
No.
I was never good to her. And I'm sorry, I get
I know
emotional.
you're
And now that
making
I'm
me get emotional.
so like, now that I'm so much on the other side, it's something that really bothers me how much time I wasted being mean to myself. And so, it's not something I do often, but it's definitely, my therapist always tells me that I have to be nicer to her, so I figured what better place, right?
It's self-love is everything, right, Jack? It's so,
Yeah.
I know. And you're so sweet.
Yeah, I did waste a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time, as you'll see, like I wasted a lot of life experiences not being present in them. And it's a shame. And if I could stop someone else from doing that for 20 years, if someone could read this and be like, oh man, like, is that what my future looks like? I don't want to do that, then I'll have done my job.
Listen, self-love, I feel like is something that we all sometimes forget, right? You're not the only one
Yeah.
guilty of that. There's plenty of people out there who don't, and it's not just with an eating disorder. There's other ways people just don't love themselves, whether they're in an abusive relationship or keep going back for more of the same or drugs or
Yeah.
addiction or whatever it may be, right? So I feel like that speaks to a big audience right there. I mean, do you have any advice or can you tell us when you realized that you're not loving yourself the right way? And like, when did you get back to loving yourself and how important was that for you?
This was all in the last year, Melissa. I was so numb to all of those feelings. I just was always searching for something that was going to make, I thought that being thin would make people love me. And it definitely made people tell me I was beautiful. I mean, when I really got thin, and I'm tall,
Right.
and I got the long blonde extensions and like I was asked all the time. I was like, I just wanted to run as far away as possible from the person that I was from 15 to 26. I just wanted to look absolutely completely different. It's like, back when people used to go on like, what was that show? Who is that guy? Like, not Maury Povich show, but like those kind of
Oh,
shows where
Jerry
like
Springer.
they would do the transformation. Yeah, Jerry Springer, and like they look totally like that's what I was going for. Like I just wanted to look like a totally different person. The self-love really came with recovery. It really was in the last year, I would say, since the end of last summer. Something switched for me at the end of last summer, and it's in the book. And I really went on the second half of my recovery of like really learning to love myself and let go of the things that I thought would make me a valuable person. But I'll tell you something else, Melissa. When this show called me and offered me the opportunity to audition to be a housewife, not even audition, but like to speak to casting, that was just another example of something that I thought would make people love me. And I went after it so ferociously. It wasn't on my radar before, of course. Like this was not something that I was calling people and being like, can I get on? I was so, I'd say at the beginning and for a few years, like desperate to be on the show. And I love the show. I absolutely love the show. I'm happy with it. I was just so desperate to be on it because it was just another thing I thought would make people love me because I didn't value myself just for being me. Never thought that was enough. So I felt like, oh my God, this is it. If I'm on the show, then people will love me. Then I won't be the person I was, when I was young. It let me just keep running away from who I was when I was young. And then like after a while, you realize that that's not the magic trick either.
Right.
It's not until you really love yourself and you really value yourself outside of whatever anyone else thinks of you that you really can find peace. You really can. I'm so at peace now.
Which is amazing. I see a big change in you, honestly, how many years have you been on The Real Housewives of New Jersey?
This is my sixth year.
6 years. Okay, that's a long time to enter, first of all, the reality world, knowing, it's about the glitz, it's about the glamour, the Real Housewives franchises, right? And knowing, I think that alone to someone, to who you are 6 years ago opposed to now is a lot of pressure in itself just to say, okay, I'm going to join this cast. Was there any moments when you were like, I don't know if this is the right decision, or were you all in? Like you were all in?
No, I was all in. I was all in because I kept trying to find the thing that was going to make me special.
Right.
And look at my family. I have these 4 beautiful, healthy children, an amazing husband who loves me so much. And I was still looking for the things that were going to make me special. There was never, and it was never enough. And I was always chasing things and I was always looking for the next thing. I'm not even embarrassed to say it because I think so many people just don't say it. And they're always looking for what will make them look special to the outside world. And once I let go of that, my entire life changed.
On Display with Melissa Gorga is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Let's face it, sometimes multitasking can be like overwhelming to say the least. Like when your favorite podcast is playing and the person next to you is talking and your car fan is blasting, all while you're just trying to find the perfect parking spot. But then again, sometimes multitasking is easy, like quoting with Progressive Insurance. They do the hard work of comparing rates so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. So if you give their really cool comparison tool a try, you might just find getting the right rate and coverage you deserve is so easy. All you need to do is visit Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up and ready to compare. So it's so simple to choose the rate and coverage that you like. Press play on comparing auto rates. Quote at progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Housewives, Bravo, dating, motherhood. It's all just one big party in my book. So raise a glass and join us for Turtle Time.
Okay, if you haven't figured it out, that's Ramona Singer. And I'm Avery Singer. and you probably know us best from The Real Housewives of New York. And Turtle Time is actually our new podcast.
Avery, I am so excited to be doing this with you.
I'm so excited too, and now we're inviting you to Turtle Time.
We'll have some fun and learn something, even if it's just the latest Housewives tea.
So follow, rate, and review Turtle Time now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I mean, listen, you just mentioned, I was just going to ask you about the 4 kids and your amazing husband, Evan, who we all love. I missed him this weekend, by the way. He was.
I know. Sports dad. He's gone right now with the kids. They're always at the
I
game.
know. And you know what happens this time of year? It's like time for everybody to get back into sports. It's football starting. It's that time of year. But with your kids, I personally have seen Evan support you amazingly. He really is the most supportive husband. You guys have an amazing relationship and you have 4 beautiful children. I mean, did that really lead the way for a lot of your recovery? Like, were you doing it for them?
I wasn't really doing it for my kids. I was doing it because there came a point where my health issues were enough that I knew that if I continued, something very bad might happen to me. I knew that. And once I started looking into that, I realized that if I want my children to have a mother for a long time, I had to stop. So yes, I was doing it for them, but I was really doing it for me so that I could live. And not that I was like imminently dying, but there were things that were failing in my body that I go into that I needed to get on top of. But also once I started recovery, I realized so many things that I missed out on with my children. So, and a lot of things I missed out on with Evan. You know, I felt less bad about the things I missed out on with Evan because in my head I could justify he's an adult, he could do what he wants, you know, but my children, I mean, just so many times when I just wasn't thinking about anything but calories and food while I sat across from them, I'll never get those years back. I'll never get the chance to like enjoy certain things with like my toddlers ever again, and I ruined them. You know?
I understand, and that's the hurtful part, and that's where all your emotion comes, and likely so. I mean, and it's honest, Jack. It's honest with where you've been, your regrets. Everyone has regrets in life. Someone else's regrets might be something completely different, right? But at the end of the day, this is your story. You're telling us your story. You're being open. You're being honest. I'm being honest. All my listeners out there, this book it's excellent, Jack. And I haven't even like sat here and read it from wall to, and I'm already just reading like passages and going through it because I haven't had a chance.
There's some scenes with you. There was a time when we went to Jamaica. Remember when we went to Jamaica?
Yes. I want to ask you that too about the show. Yeah. Are there moments, and you can tell this one right now, where it was stressful because you knew you had to eat?
Oh my God. I go through in detail the scenes where you see one thing and what was going through my head was a completely tortured scenario. So there was one, like, for example, with me and you, we were in Jamaica and we had to film a lunch scene, and you ordered chicken wings and pizza for the table. And I freaked out in my head because I didn't want to have to eat chicken wings and pizza on camera. I didn't know how to. I physically couldn't. I couldn't lift it to my mouth and eat it, even if I wanted to. And I didn't know how to hide that. And it was just like the stress of that situation was so totally different from what, like, you probably didn't even think twice about it.
I probably didn't. Did I say, why didn't you order what you wanted too? Did you want a salad?
I did. I also ordered a salad and wine, but I was afraid of having it in front of me. And I was afraid of what people would think and what the audience would think and what the producers would think. I was nervous. I didn't know how to hide it sometimes. Wow. And hiding my eating disorder was my like priority number one at all times.
My God. Like, there's probably so many instances where I do remember you telling me one thing that you used to know, like, okay, we're going to have a dinner scene. So you would watch what you would eat for the rest of the day so that you can have your one meal a day on camera.
Yeah, it was, you know what? Sometimes I just told stories, whatever I could say in the moment, but I mean, there were days I just wouldn't eat at all if I had to. But there was also a complex system of like calculations in my head where, sorry, I say calculations and I think of Andy Cohen's chart, adorable pen. But I would calculate everything in my head all day. So it was basically like if I had too much, I wouldn't eat. I just would not eat.
You wouldn't.
I would just push it around, and I got so good at it that you really, if you didn't look close, sometimes you wouldn't even notice it, because I kept myself, I was thin and I had moments where I was much thinner than others, but I kept myself thin enough, like underweight enough that I was okay, that I was happy with it, but close enough to normal that if you didn't want to ask questions about it, you didn't have to.
Right.
You could ignore it.
And if we didn't really pay attention and zoom in to what every little morsel of food you were putting in your mouth, we might not notice.
Even every little morsel. You'd almost never see me eating normally. But there were enough times where I would take some bites of normal things that people would be like, well, I saw her eat yesterday.
Right.
So, it's hard because if you want to fool people, you can, but eventually your body will give out.
Of course. And I definitely saw little things and signs, and I felt like, and me, I'm such a big eater, right? I'm an over orderer. I'm a big eater. So I do think about that. And like and you had a lot of scenes with me because you and I are friends, right? Mm-hmm. So I do think about that. And I hate to think that you were stressed out.
I remember almost everything that everyone around me eats. And I remember one time at an airport, you ordered, God, it was 9 a.m. It was 9 a.m. and you ordered chicken wings again with the chicken wings. And I watched you eating these greasy chicken wings and I'm like, how the fuck does she do that? This is so unfair.
Oh my God. I don't know what.
It was wild.
What the frig was I ordering chicken wings for at 9 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know. I was like, how does she have the most insane body and eat like that? But I mean, more power to you. I do think that metabolism and hereditary issues
it's a factor. It's definitely a thing. Yes,
it definitely is. But you know what? I will never diet again. I really put no value on what other people think of my body now. I never let myself be mean to myself in a mirror. I'm really good to myself now, and it's changed my life in incredible ways that I go into towards the end of the book. But it really is quite a ride. It is, and it's dark. It gets very dark, but it's a really great story.
Jack, I love how candid and open and honest you're being in this whole entire book. I think you are beautiful from the inside out. You really are. You're beautiful inside too. Your heart's huge. You're a great mom. You're a great wife. So I'm proud of you as your girlfriend. I am telling all my listeners, guys, we are only 1 month out from the release of Jackie's book, right? But they can pre-order it.
Yes. Pre-orders are so important. Yeah. Amazon has it, but there's a link in my bio that takes you to all the places that are selling it. But you can pre-order it from Amazon really easily, or Barnes & Noble.
All right, everyone. It's called The Weight of Beautiful. The official release is September 26th. I'm very, very excited for my friend. This book is going to help so many people, especially if you're struggling to love yourself. And that's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Jackie, keep on being an inspiration to everyone. We all love you so much.
I love you, Melissa.
I love that we got to talk, and I love that we had fun this weekend. And
yes, so much fun. So much more fun.
Yeah, we have a long couple months to go. I'll be seeing you a lot more, so don't miss me too much. I'll probably see you in a couple of days.
Nope. Yep, I'm sure I will. All right. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
What hit blockbusters are streaming free this month during Popcorn Summer Movies on Pluto TV. Watch action-packed movies like Charlie's Angels and comedies like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or enjoy School of Rock. and the adventures of Tintin with the whole family. Plus, Pluto TV has thousands of other free movies available on live and on demand. Download Pluto TV on all your favorite devices for free and start streaming now.